Morning, everyone. Good evening. Good morning, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. It is my pleasure to welcome Jenna from Riverdale Country School. We are so excited to have you, Jenna, and to hear more about Riverdale today. Without further ado, please go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me. And I am joined today also by Tracy Dansker and Maya Schulman, who are members of our admission team. And we're thrilled to have them here as well. Tracy is the director of middle and upper school admission, and Maya is the director of lower school admission. And I know they've had a chance to meet with Cindy and the team here in New York earlier this week. And I'm excited to have the opportunity to connect with you all today, this evening. So thank you for having us. My name is Jenna King. I'm the Associate Head of School for External Affairs here at Riverdale. And I've been here for a very long time. As I start to think about it, 20 years at Riverdale is a lot of time. And I'm really thrilled to be here. I do oversee pre-K through 12th grade admissions and enrollment, along with a couple of other departments that I work closely with here at Riverdale. In addition to working in admissions, I also have the opportunity to be the parent of 3 children here at Riverdale. And both Maya and Tracy also have children here at the school. So not only do we represent the school as professionals, but we're also really thrilled to be parents here as well. And so I wanted to give you a quick overview of what the school is and give you a little bit of information about the school. And Cindy, I see you're translating, so if I need to slow down at all, just let us know. I wanted to give you some statistics about our school. We'll talk to you a little bit about the mission and vision, share a couple of videos with you, and then perhaps we can answer some questions. And I certainly would love Maya and Tracy to jump in with some of their favorite things about being here at Riverdale. They too have long histories with the school as well. So let's start out by sharing that Riverdale is a large school. We have close to 1,300 students in pre-K through 12th grade. We're an all-gender school with two beautiful large campuses here in the Bronx. Our lower school is a lovely 8.5-acre campus, 8-acre campus right next to the Hudson River, which is beautiful, and that's where our pre-K through 5th grade students spend their day. And then when the students shift to 6th grade, they come about a mile away to another 19.5-acre space where our 6th through 12th grade students will spend their time each day. We do provide transportation from a lot of different areas around the city, and we represent 117 different zip codes where our students are coming from each day. In terms of our enrollment, I think it's important for families to know that we are a school that is constantly adding to the group that we have here. So we start out with about 16 to 18 students in our pre-K program. We expand to about 60 students per grade for kindergarten through 5th grade, over 3 different classes. And one of my favorite things about being a parent at the lower school is that we have 2 teachers. I'm no longer a parent at the lower school, but when I was, I loved the fact that my children were exposed to 2 teachers in each classroom. And I think it's a really wonderful model. Not only are you getting more individualized attention, but you're also having the opportunity to learn from 2 different educators. And we're able to start modeling for students from a very young age how people who may be similar to or different from one another can work together in collaborative learning. We then expand as the kids make the shift between campuses to about 85 students in our 6th grade, about 95 for 7th and 8th, and about 135 to 140 students for high school. So what that looks like for those who are applying to the school would be about 20 to 25 openings in sixth grade, a handful of openings, about 5 to 10 in seventh grade, and then about 40 to 45 openings in ninth grade. For students who might be exploring the other entry points that are not the ones I mentioned, we typically handle those based on attrition. We're very lucky at Riverdale to be a high challenge, high support environment. And we have a wonderful student to teacher ratio of about 5 to 1. Our average class size at the lower school, as I mentioned, is about 20 students per class with 2 teachers. And in the middle and upper schools, about 16 students per class. Mm-hmm. We're really proud to be. Do you want me to pause there, Cindy?
Yeah, sure. And also, do you want to share your screen? You could. I send you a message.
Yes, I certainly will. I certainly will when we get to videos, if that's okay.
Okay, definitely. Sure.
Okay, perfect. So at Riverdale, we're really proud to be a diverse and inclusive community in many different ways. And I think that's something that we're again, in the many years that I've been here, that's something we've made a concerted effort to do, is to have students who represent many different backgrounds. We represent over 70 different nationalities. About 48% of our students identify as students of color. We have students from many different family structures, backgrounds, students who represent different interests, learn in different ways. About 20% of our students receive financial aid from us, so we're also committed to socioeconomic diversity. All of those things are really important to us. One of the phrases that I've heard recently to describe the school that I really think is very accurate is that we're a playground for collective learning. And I love that phrase because I think we're very lucky. I'm actually looking out the window here from my office and I see kids running around playing soccer. And we're very lucky to have a beautiful campus that allows kids to get outside and move around and be active during their day. And yes, it's nice to be in a beautiful setting, but I think what's even more important, I listened to some of our students presenting to our board yesterday about the fact that they really want to turn our campus into an urban forest. And so it's not just about the beauty that we're surrounded by each day, but we really think about how we can use the campus in our educational program. The other part of that statement that I really love is collective learning. Riverdale is a place that we don't want you to just come and sit by yourself with your books and memorize material and then go out and take a test and move on. We really want you to start developing the skills that are going to be critical in your life, spending time working with people who might have different styles from you, collaborating, whether it's on a written piece or whether it's on a presentation that you're doing. We really want kids to engage in that interactive learning experience. At Riverdale, a big goal that we have is that we want to help our students thrive so that they can make change in the world. And there are 3 parts to our mission that I think are really important. The first is mind. And when we talk about mind, I mentioned the high challenge, high support piece. We really want to push our students to do the best learning. And we recognize that as they challenge themselves and as they push themselves in new directions, they need to be in a place where they're offered support by each other and by the faculty around them. So we're really committed to that sort of philosophy, if you will. I'm going to throw around a lot of education terms that may be complicated, especially with a language difference here, but we're a school that really believes that students should learn in an experiential way. It's very hands-on. We don't want students to just learn out of context. We want them to learn in ways that they get to actually do things and see them for themselves. There's a lot of projects, it's very interactive, and it's very interdisciplinary in nature, meaning that we don't want to just think about math in a box or think about writing in a silo. We want students to learn across the different disciplines. We want our students to walk away from Riverdale knowing how to think, how to ask good questions, how to work in teams, as I mentioned, and really how to learn. It's not just about what they're learning, but about how they're approaching new material and new information. And that's a big part of what we're teaching them to do. I'm thinking about the fact that we're raising kids now in a world where we have artificial intelligence that can do a lot of things for us. But if you put in the wrong prompt, the artificial intelligence is not going to give you back what you're looking for. And so that's what I'm talking about knowing how to ask the right questions. Another piece of our mission is character. We believe that students can't develop their intellect without developing their character alongside it. And we, of course, believe in things like empathy and kindness and respect, but we also push students to be open-minded and to consider other perspectives, to understand their own strengths so that they can work with people who may have different strengths and they can really engage in teamwork. Kind of tied to that point is the last pillar of our mission, which is community. At Riverdale, we want all of the different students that I talked about from all of those different backgrounds to feel a sense of belonging. We care a lot about community, both at the student level, but also at the parent and family level. And so we want everyone here to feel that they can be part of something larger than themselves. And so I think that really connects back to our mission around learning to make change for the good in the world. And when we think about community here at Riverdale, of course, we think about the classroom community and the on-campus community. And we also think about our local Bronx community and really our global community. And I'm so proud of the work that Riverdale has done to bring us out across the globe through our Global Studies program, which begins as early as our lower school years. So that's a brief overview. I know that's a lot of talking. I thought it might make sense to share a quick tour with you, a video tour, and then maybe Tracy and Maya and I can talk a little bit about the admissions process and other things that we love about the school, and then we'll see what questions come up. So I'll share my screen now and show those videos to you. Let me just get them queued up here. The first one I have is of our lower school. So whoopsies, just gonna get here to share my screen. Okay, here we go. And there we are.
Welcome to Riverdale. This is one of our central points where students are met by faculty and staff each morning as they arrive to campus by car or bus. At Riverdale, we want each student to have that sense of belonging and that feeling of community when they arrive at school each day. Students feel safe and secure when they're on campus, where they get to use the campus for both interdisciplinary learning experiences and play in age-appropriate outdoor spaces.
We're fortunate to have spacious and well-lit classrooms here at the River campus. In our upper learning building, there are writable walls and benches that allow students to have breakout spaces in smaller groups and additional learning space. Grade level classrooms are grouped together, and that allows students in the same grade to see one another, and it allows teachers to collaborate effectively across all of their classrooms. Lower school classrooms have 2 teachers in the room, and that gives all the students an opportunity to hear multiple perspectives and experience a co-teaching model. Although students and teachers love our bright and large classroom spaces, they really are fortunate to have a wealth of outdoor spaces as well. Right outside this classroom, we have a playground. There's also tennis courts, and at our fingertips are Riverdale Park and Wave Hill.
Many life skills are developed in our art studios. As one teacher reminded us, art is a dialogue. Students are learning about their families and communities, developing their interests and passions, but also learn to work collaboratively as they share supplies and care for the space. Teachers encourage students to be creative and to ask questions about how they want to express themselves, and even about the materials they are using. Students are guided to go back and learn from an oops or an aha moment.
All right, so that's our lower school campus, and I'm going to show you our middle and upper school one, but maybe while I'm queuing that up, Maya can tell you a thing or two about what she loves about Riverdale.
Thank you, Jenna, and good morning and good evening to you all. Once again, my name is Maya Schulman. I'm the director of lower school admission here at Riverdale. I love this question because really, and I think Cindy and Lilius know, I'm really enthusiastic when it comes to Riverdale, and for so many reasons. But if I had to pick one, it really is about community. I love this community because it has given me a sense of independence, pride. It encompasses so many parts of my life. Before I had children, I was a part of this community. Now I have children. I'm still a part of this community. My whole entire family is. But really, it's the idea that our faculty and staff have the ability to engage with a variety of students, faculty, and you become friends, very close friends in a way. And then the idea that I was able to start in this community as a kindergarten, pre-K music teacher, and then I have grown and become the director of financial, not director of financial aid, not yet, sorry, the director of a lower school admission here. But the idea that they were able to provide me the opportunity to grow professionally and support our faculty and staff, that is something that I admire and love about this community. So thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Maybe I'll show you the quick video of our other campus just a mile away. And then Tracy can tell you a little bit about what she loves about the middle and upper school experience. So I'll just quickly share my screen there. Oh, I think this should be it.
Welcome to Mao Hall. This is the home of our Global Studies program and language department. Riverdale is proud to have an immersive language program. Students and faculty joyfully study different languages and cultures from around the world. In addition to learning a new language, our students are expanding their knowledge of a new culture so that they are able to become full citizens of the world.
The Cohen Science Annex is the home of our middle school science program. Students in grades 6 through 8 move through a sequence of science courses that begins with earth and environmental science, then life science, and finishes with chemical and physical science. As is the case across our middle school curriculum, the science department emphasizes the acquisition of knowledge alongside the acquisition of student skills. We're really lucky to have a dedicated building just for our middle school science program.
Welcome to Hackett Hall. It's our oldest building on campus and also home to our middle school. Most of our 6th through 8th grade English, history, and math classes will take place in Hackett. An emphasis in our middle school is for students to find the joy in learning. As they transition into 6th grade, they're exposed to a variety of new disciplines and experiences. Our teachers do their best to break out of the classroom and utilize our campus and the wider New York City area. Our students engage with learning experiences all over the map.
Here in the Weinstein Science Building, upper school students develop skills and techniques that allow them to connect their scientific knowledge to real-world problems and solutions. As students begin high school, they take a core set of courses that allow them to set a foundation in STEM. Afterward, they have an opportunity to select from a wide variety of electives. These may include advanced courses in biology, chemistry, or physics, or they may choose to study something different like computer science, bioethics, or psychology.
Right. So Tracy, maybe you want to say a couple words about what you've loved about Riverdale's middle and upper school.
Thank you, Jenna. Yes, for those of you who were not with us in person the other day, my name is Tracy Dansker, and as Jenna mentioned, I'm the director of middle and upper school admission, and I am the newest parent of the three of us here on this call. So I don't have as much to say about the older grades, but my son is happily in our pre-K as of a few weeks ago. So I'm thrilled to be able to speak to you from that perspective. I'm also an alum of Riverdale, so I pretty much have been a part of Riverdale for as long as I can remember. There are only a few short years of life where I was in here. I really love Riverdale. I could talk about it for a very long time and share many, many things that I enjoy, but actually was listening to Jenna's introduction today, and obviously you all heard it as well, and she was talking about the students who came to present at the board. And I think one of the things that I really love about Riverdale is the way it amplifies student voice, and it gives kids not only the sort of academic foundation to be able to come up with really amazing ideas and thoughts, but also the confidence to take advantage of an opportunity to come speak to the board about something that you want to change in your community. And so there's so many pieces to that. I think it's the confidence, it's the academic information, it's the student voice, but it's a really great example, I think, of the unique opportunities that students have to be intellectually engaged in our community and to grow not only academic, but also life skills. And I think that is so important to us as we think about the ways in which we educate our students, particularly as they come into the middle and upper school, where they have kind of nailed down things like spelling or we hope for the most part in our elementary program. But once you get up here, you really have the opportunity to think about what you're passionate about and how our program can support the development of that passion. And when we think about what kids will do when they leave Riverdale, it's no longer, as Jenna mentioned, essential for them to have sort of memorized copious amounts of information. Instead, it's really about this ability to stand up and to speak and to present one's ideas and to work collaboratively and to think of novel ways in which we can solve problems we see in the world around us. And that's a really great example. I'm so delighted you shared it, Jenna. It really, I think, highlights so many things that I love about our program as it moves into the middle and upper school.
Thank you, Tracy. So hopefully between the videos and what you've heard from the three of us, you all have a pretty good sense of what our school is all about. I thought it might make sense to talk for a couple minutes about our admissions process and then take some questions if there are some. I saw there may be some starting to come in the chat. But in terms of our admissions process, I would say there's a lot we do that's very similar to what other schools are doing in terms of a biographical form, in terms of at the middle and upper school level, asking for some student essays and information about activities that students are involved in. We, at all grade levels, are asking for feedback from the child's current teachers. And then we're asking for, at the older level, students' report cards and information about the academic profile. At Riverdale, we do ask for testing for students entering grade 5 through grade 12. And we're a school that has adhered to our testing requirement throughout the pandemic. And I do think it's important to quickly mention the testing. We don't believe that testing is the be all and end all. And we certainly don't just look at testing and then move on from a student's application. We believe that it's one piece of a much more complex puzzle. And we do engage in holistic review here. So we really are looking at testing as one component. That being said, it is helpful for us to get a sense of a student's writing abilities through that testing, and it allows us to really understand the full picture of the student's academic profile alongside the teacher reports and the transcripts or report cards. I would say for probably all three of us, the favorite part of the admissions process is the interview. And that looks a little bit different depending on which grade you're applying to. We're very excited that this year at all of our entry points, students will be coming to campus to engage in their interview process. And I recognize that some of you are not in the US, and if that's the case, we can certainly arrange a Zoom experience for you to do your interview. But for most of the people who live here in the States, we'd love to have them come to campus if at all possible. So there will be, it'll look a little bit different depending on the grade, but for all of our major entry points, there will be a group component. And so we'll have a chance to engage with students among several other applicants. And that really gives us a chance to see students in that collaborative setting that I mentioned is so important to our educational program. Of course, we want to get to know the parents and guardians as well. And so There will also be a time for us to chat with the parents and guardians. And I'm not going to, for the purposes of this discussion, go through each grade level and how their interview works. We feel we've designed a process that's really age appropriate for each grade, but there is an opportunity for a parent interview. I saw there was a question in the chat about the parent interview. And I'll just say, the parent interview for us is not a place where we're trying to ask lots of questions, and we're not grilling you on your parental philosophy or anything like that. We really are trying to have you tell us about your child, and then ask us questions so that you can better assess our ability to be a fit for your child and your family. And so we really want to, I would say most of the time in the parent interview, we're talking a lot about Riverdale and you're telling us about your child, but we're not asking you a lot of questions. We really want that time to be a place where you're asking us questions. And so that's that part. And then I will say, sometimes families want to share additional information with us as they go through the application process. And we're always happy to add additional pieces to the student's file, but nothing else is required. So once you log into your to our application system, you'll see the requirements for each grade. So I recognize that's a broad summary, but that helps us to, I can give you a little bit about the things we care about. Like I mentioned, there are a couple different requirements here and there. We do ask for instance, in the high school, a peer recommendation and things like that. So you'll see all of that laid out in our system. I think there are a couple of other questions there. Yes.
Actually,
you want me to hold off on those questions for a minute? That's fine.
No,
Maya and
go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say, I want to see if Maya and Tracy have any other thoughts to add about the process, and then maybe should we go to the chat? Does that work?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Tracy and Maya, anything else about the process?
I always think about this process and I think, like, how do you begin? How do you start? And I'm sure many families have been on our website, but we use a platform called Ravenna. So the first step would be making a profile in the Ravenna account and starting there. And what's beautiful about Ravenna too is that, and we hope you are doing this, is that you're not just applying to one school, that you're applying to a variety of schools. And the platform actually lends itself to, allow for a variety of schools to apply to. So you don't just have to apply to Riverdale. All the information goes into Riverdale or to Ravenna, and then you have the option of applying to other schools. And then you can go through the process. And like Jenna was saying before, it is dependent on the grade level. But really, it's that first stop is our website and then going to that Ravenna platform.
I think y'all covered it. I feel good.
Wonderful. So do you all want to throw out the questions, or should we just go through the ones in the chat?
Yeah, I can kind of, parse through the ones in the beginning as well.
Great.
I believe Emma asked, will there be any special activities organized by the school on the weekends?
For when students are
I think so.
enrolled? Yeah. I think that's probably what you mean. I would say we try to respect the balance of family life and school life, and so we don't have a ton going on weekends, but there certainly are activities. And I know at the lower school we'll be offering Friday afternoon play dates, for instance, where parents can come to campus along and spend time with their child and get to know other parents and guardians and have use of our playground after school. So that's certainly something. We definitely have some special family events, particularly at the beginning of the year. We have our homecoming coming up, which is a big community celebration, and performances by our dance groups, for example, and of course, athletic games as well. We also and actually this year we're adding a lower school forest cleanup project alongside that, so that'll be lots of fun. We are doing a family fun day at the lower school later this this fall in conjunction with our book fair. Sometimes our middle and upper school students might have a sports game or two on the weekend. We have our plays and musicals are often performed on the weekend for middle and upper school as well. So we definitely try to strike that balance between giving families time on the weekends to be with one another and to do other activities, and of course, providing ways for them to build community here.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that, when Tracy and Maya were joining us in person as well, I think Riverdale is a school that emphasizes community, and you can definitely feel it in the weekday and also on the weekend and after school with just the lower and middle and upper and even the faculty community. So that's very important. I'm going to move on to the next question. I think a parent asked, I think you've covered this already though. Are you open to viewing schools online for families who can't come to the States?
Yes. It's funny, before the pandemic, we used to ask everyone to come here because we weren't as good at the online thing. But, we've certainly learned, and we're happy to be flexible on that front. And I will say quickly, we are doing virtual open houses this year, so that can be, and you may see some familiar tour footage and maybe hear a few stats that we shared, again, if you were to attend those, but those are offered, at different times. So I know there's one coming up this weekend that may work for folks who are 12 or 13 hours ahead of us because they're in the morning our time. So that could be something that could work just for families to feel connected to the school in the process. But otherwise, we can certainly, I think it's worth noting that it's not necessarily easy at all times to schedule the right time interview online because of how we have the structure built. So if there's not a time that works well or things like that, families can always email us and we can kind of set things up aside from the interview scheduling that's offered in Ravenna.
Beautiful. I think this is an important question. How important are parent interviews for lower school admissions, and how does that compare to kind of middle and upper, I think, is what I think the parent may have suggested in the question. And maybe, we could talk about how the interview process may look different for lower and middle and upper.
Sure. And I think the question, if I'm interpreting the question, it was also about how the parent interview compares to the child interview as well. So Maya, do you want to speak to that a bit?
I'd love to start. What I think is important about the lower school process is that because our students are so young, the parent guardian input is really important for us. The connection to parent and guardians at the kindergarten level, it really looks different than when we're looking at our 6th graders and our 9th graders. So I don't want to say that one outweighs the other. It really is a holistic, a balanced approach. Just like the testing and the group interview, there isn't one that weighs higher. So we look at the whole picture, and each part of the interview process is weighed evenly. So we open the opportunity for you to ask your questions, for you to learn about us, for us to learn about you, but one isn't weighed more than the other. It's equally as important. But that does shift and change, I think, when you look at 6th grade and 9th grade, and I think Tracy and Jenna can speak more to that.
Tracy, you want to jump in?
Yeah, no problem. I think, when we talk about community, we are certainly talking about your children as they are going to be with us every day. But we're also talking about the parent community. I don't think, as Maya mentioned, for lower school, it's the same for middle and upper. You are not the reason we will or will not take your child, and vice versa. Your child's not going to say something that will outweigh something that you say. It's really holistically looking at your child and your family as an applicant to the institution. But we are thinking about our community at large. We have a really active parent community. I think in the lower school, middle school, and upper school, it can look slightly different how you choose to participate. And I think we've done a really wonderful job over the years adjusting some of the participation opportunities to fit the needs and schedules of a variety of different families and family structures structures. And so if you have a lot of time and you'd like to be very active on our Parents Association and pick different committees and spend lots of time here, you can. If you love supporting your child, but you also work a really heavy job, we are happy to have you come for the 1 hour thing you signed up for, or the play that they're in, or whatever it may be. So I think as we think about the interview process as it relates to parents, we're certainly hoping to get to know all of you and all the things that you're hoping for your family as you all join our community. But I don't think one weighs more than the other at any division.
I agree. I don't have anything else to add. Is there another question that you wanted us to answer this morning?
Let's see. I think there are several questions about, studying at Riverdale, and I think we can kind of group them together and kind of ask, well, how do we support our student? I use we now because I've seen Tracy and Maya now for 2 days, and I'm like, now I'm a part of the family.
You're always welcome. We appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Cindy and I feel always very welcome. How do we really, how does the school support the students academically in terms of support systems, in terms of emotional health, trying to adjust to a private school kind of curriculum? If you guys could speak more into that.
Absolutely. I'm happy to kick that one off. I think, as I mentioned earlier, we really sort of believe in this high challenge, high support ideology, if you will. That maybe sounds too strong, but we very much believe in that philosophy. And we believe that students have to be physically and mentally healthy in order to do all of the challenging work that they want to do. And so we have a lot of systems in place for that. And part of it is having a lot of adults here on campus to keep an eye on kids and maintaining, even though we're a large school with big campuses and a lot of space where kids can spread out, maintaining that low student to teacher ratio, I think, is really important. And on both of our campuses, we have our learning research teams that work with our students. And at the lower school, we have our science coordinator, we have our literacy coordinator, we have our math coordinator who are working with the teachers to constantly adjust the curriculum to meet the changing needs of our students. And I don't mean that needs are changing month to month, but year to year, and constantly thinking about the best practices for teaching our students. They are also working with teachers to identify students who might be struggling or who might need a little bit of a challenge, an extra boost. And so having those resources available to our teachers is really helpful. I would say, that becomes a little bit more of a partnership between a learning specialist and a student as they get to the middle and upper school. But really throughout, we have resources to help students who may need, I saw there was a question about supplemental tutoring. And so we can certainly, offer lots of different support. And, I can say sometimes, like with a 6th grader, that's around organizational skills. I was talking to a parent last night who told me, I love the fact that the learning specialist is meeting with my child to just organize their binders and organize their backpack and their schedule and their planner. And sometimes that's the kind of support that we're offering. Other times it might be around a particular skill, a student in a language or math skills. And so in addition to the learning research team, we also have centers set up in our middle and upper school library space where students can go and find a teacher for extra help. At the lower school, one of the beauties of having 2 teachers in every classroom is you can pull a student aside and have a teacher work with them sometimes if they need extra support in either direction. We're able to make small working groups a lot so that teachers really can know students' individual strengths and challenges. In addition to that, we have deans who are working with students at all levels. We have counselors. We have of course, our nurses who are looking after students' nutrition and health. And we've just brought on a new director of food service who is thinking about not only nutrition and our menus and what we're offering here at school, but also thinking about those things in connection to sort of sustainability and the environment around us, and really looking at locally sourced foods and things like that. So I'm just scratching the surface. There are a lot of other resources available to our students, but I think the idea is that we very much believe that it's not just, the mind part that needs the support, or the, socio-emotional health of the students. It's all of that collectively. And so I would say the other piece is that we do a lot of parent education, and I think that's something that we're really proud of. Just tonight, for example, we have a wonderful speaker coming in to address our parents and guardians around topic of social media and supporting our students that way. And so it's really, to go back to something that you said earlier, it's really about the community and not just about this, individual students. It's about keeping the whole community healthy and safe.
Great. I think we're right at our time.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jenna. Thank you so much again, Tracy and Maya, for joining us.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
If the parents have any other questions as well, feel free to email the info@inamericaedu.com email, and we will hope to get back to you as soon as possible.
Yeah,
that sounds
wonderful.
great. Thank you for having us. We look forward to meeting all of you, and it's a pleasure to always work with InAmerica so closely. So thank you. Have a wonderful evening and day,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.